Happy Monday, everyone. We are back with another Monday Night Live. It's been a fantastic weekend of golf. Rory winning at the AT&T Pebble Beach, and a great win by Laurie Cantor, taking down Pablo Larrazabal, being sick all over his shoes down the 18th and in the playoff. Did you catch any of the AT&T?
I've seen some of the highlights for it. Was in bed early last night, but I mean, it's fascinating seeing the variety of weather during the week. But it's just great when they get on a great course.
Yep, hole-in-ones galore for Shane Lowry and Rory McIlroy. Anything that we can take out of their bag that we haven't seen before? Is there any new equipment that you know that maybe Rory's using? Is he using the new driver?
He's still using the old driver.
Is he really?
So this to me just says they're trying to dial it in for him. But he clearly hits the old one very well based on the tee shot that he hit on 14. Ridiculous. And if he's getting on with it that well, it's hard to kick it out of the bag. He's got to get to the point of trusting it, but they will want him to trust it very soon.
For sure. I think it was very interesting. If you saw any of the highlights and his post-round interview, someone asked him about playing the last hole and he said he had a 3-shot lead. It was good to have that and not take a drive out of the bag. I was just speaking to young Christos and Alex's dad in a session I'll just do before this. I get worried when I hear Rory talk about that. I know I give Rory a bit of a hard time on the show because I don't think he fulfills his potential, and I'm sure the whole world is on that. But I'd much rather have him sort of taking the driver out on the last and try to whop one down there and feel uncomfortable, or feeling comfortable with feeling uncomfortable in a pressurised situation in prep for the majors. Again, he's a strong driver of the golf ball, strength of his game. It would have been, again, we always keep on relating these huge players in the world of golf to the mighty Tiger Woods. You would have never have heard Tiger saying something like that. I was glad I was saying. No, he might have thought it,
but stuck his 2-iron up there, just taking the tree out of play.
But like we talk about Lando Norris. If you're an F1 fan out there, we talk about Lando Norris and how he talks himself down all of the time, and that sort of leads on to him being bad off the start line. So I do think, okay, you can think it, saying it is a whole new thing.
Yeah, I think you kind of take it in terms of if he was in that position in a major, you just you take any risk out of play. You just 3 shots on, 3 putts, take a 6, run. But you say, I think to verbalise it, I think is one thing. I think sometimes Rory is. I think I may have said he's too honest. But the rest of the round was mighty impressive.
Yeah, very good.
And Shane Lowry having a go as well.
Yeah, Shane Lowry, the first 9 holes, he was all over the place. He was battling a bit of a cut, and he really got up and down. And I've seen it firsthand. He's got an electric short game. As per usual, we have the 2 laptops, iPads here. James behind the ramp, spinning the discs. I think it's a big opportunity for us to congratulate Kate on a top 6 finish in Vegas in the last major on the Elite High Rocks. On to Glasgow, where she'll compete, and she stayed on to Sunday and got a new world record in the team event. Not bad, is it? I mean, 6th and then a new world record.
And within the 6th there were some difficulties with some of the equipment, and it was a kind of seemed a bit of a funny one from a layout point of view. But I think you battled through to a 6th place with dodgy counting from the machine on the wall balls, and actually just pumped on through, and then went and got the world record with the women's relay team, the 4. Very impressive.
Well, as I say, we wish her lots of luck for Glasgow in the next major. So we'll get the iPads out. We've got one charging up, which we can answer the questions from there. Let's start on my channel this evening. Perry Mason. Poised, having helped me hit nice baby draws even with the driver, can you now sort the weather out? Not sure I can stretch that far with the weather. Simon Muggleton, hi guys. He can't. Quick question on your thoughts of practicing into a bunch of towels. There was a pro who shot 61 this week, and on his social media he uses this as a drill. Any pros and cons to it? Well, if you want to swing a heavy weight into something that stops it immediately, and you feel that that's good for your body, you carry on, my friend, but I wouldn't be actively encouraging it. May work for him. And if he went out and won or shot 61, then the few $100,000 might take away the bit of the sting. But if you're going to go out and play at the weekend, I wouldn't be recommending doing that. There are other ways to create the feeling that he is looking for. That would be my advice. Let's grab the iPad from over here. We will plug it in and out. So we've got the Yorkshire Blade on. Evening, chaps. Do you have the Mizuno S3 yet?
So our Mizuno new demo runs are probably in this week. We're a little bit later because where we don't want their fitting system, we want the production head. It comes out on the head-only order comes out, which is shipping. Hopefully, should be with us this week. So come next Monday, I would anticipate, fingers crossed, we'll be able to demo it next week. Sadly.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that first name. So Soars, his surname is. Hi guys, what's the difference between an old KBS Tour 90 iron shaft and the new KBS Tour Light?
Very little. Very little. I mean, to all intents and purposes, from a playing point of view, it was a slightly kind of what you might call reimagined one. And they've now got the X-Flex in it. But the Tour Light and the Tour 90, very, very similar indeed.
Andy JM, hi guys. My nemesis shot is the ball above the feet with a long iron, hybrid or fairway wood. Any tips, or should I treat it as a two-shotter and use a short iron? Well, that would be probably the most proactive way of getting around the shot. But I think the thing that people don't necessarily appreciate is how much shape you get, and the strike that you're looking for can obviously be a little bit drop-kicked. The biggest issue is the fact that gravity is pushing you back on your heels. So standing a bit further away from the ball and then getting onto the toes of your feet to counteract the slope. You did say ball above the feet, above the feet. Yeah, so standing a bit further away, get the weight a little bit more onto the toes of your feet so you can counter the slope and then grip down it a little bit, pop the ball back. Those three things will certainly help the strike for sure. Andy B, evening gents, evening Andy B, a long time PG client. First time question, mini driver or full size driver with a shorter shaft? Thoughts, question mark.
The mini driver really suits someone who squeezes it, traps it a little bit more. So you get a lot of players who, as the driver heads have got bigger and bigger, if you tend to hit down it or sort of down and across, that the weight being further back, it actually creates a lot more spin and a less efficient ball flight. So the more compact head on the mini driver suits you if you trap it a bit. The shorter length driver is something I actually just did one for a young lad this afternoon who swings it 114 miles an hour, but the shorter shaft just timed better. So there are merits to both. If your action is more neutral from a delivery point of view, but the shorter shaft gives you more control, great. You can use a standard driver, just built shorter and reweighted. But if you squeeze it, if you trap it and play it more kind of with a downward strike, then you may well find the mini driver suits you better.
Good stuff. Doug asks, evening gents, evening Doug. Simon, have you tested the new Wilson irons? And if so, what do you think? As far as new equipment for 2025, and in particular lefties, will you have it all in by mid to late March?
So actually, we've got a box with some extra Wilson product that's just come in today.
Lovely.
Iron-wise, the one thing I would say that the Dynaforged, actually from a construction point of view, design point of view, are great, but they're heavy. And that's my only critique of them. I think they're a really good product otherwise. Strong off the face, good ball speed, but the head weight's pretty strong. So unless you're going shorter than standard, or unless you need a heavier swing weight, then they could be a little much head weight-wise for some players. The CB and MB are really classic heads, nicely designed. And certainly for lefties, I'll double check what we've got in the box when we open it tomorrow. But yeah, we should have good coverage for lefties. So you've got the woods in both options as well. So yeah, should be all good by mid-March.
We're going to have to shuffle this way because I need to pop this on charge. We're not going to make it through. Lucky, that's a handle. Lucky asks, what effect does light and heavy swing weight have on spin axis? Does one create slice and one create hook if too far one way?
The answer is you can't attribute shot shape to swing weight being high or low as a rule. What it will do is it'll affect how you move the club. Swing weight is a number that isn't kind of exact from a feel point of view. It doesn't derive from head weight being heavy or shaft weight being heavy. It's a combination of everything and how the club moves. So what it does for each individual player will be different. Some players will create a different pattern with a light swing out to a heavy one. So there isn't if it's heavy, it's going to go, for a right-handed player, it's going to go right, because for some players, they'll fetch it and flip it left. So it just means that the timing is going to be hard to achieve, and then face control will be off. But which direction, don't know, sadly.
Any come back from the trade show after meeting everyone a few weeks ago? Sort of emails gone back from any?
I've got an 8 o'clock call with a chap from New Zealand tomorrow morning who's got a fitting system with putters and wedges, which is quite interesting. And we've got the Newton shafts, so some of the demos being sent over, so arranging that. A lot of it's just sort of arranging, following up on like, oh, we like this shaft, like the idea of it, can we get it in, and arranging that. What else has there been?
Is there any manufacturers out there of shafts that are really boutique, as in they only produce maybe 3-wood shafts or driver shafts? Is there anyone that
not
specific?
Quite. I mean, there are
small?
some really boutique ones out there. Like there's a company called Seven Dreamers that makes bespoke shafts.
Really?
But they are very expensive.
What are we talking?
As in, thousands of dollars a shaft.
Right. They're called
Seven Dreamers. So you can give them a profile and a weight and a balance point, and they'll make it for you. But because it's a one-off, the tooling's very dear. So whereas when you're going to the volume of the main manufacturers producing, then the economies of scale kick in and the costs come down to be hundreds of dollars or pounds worth. But yeah, with Seven Dreamers, you can have your own bespoke shaft made.
And the livery, I suppose, is
it's incredibly neutral. It's just the carbon weave.
Oh,
yeah, it's just got a number that looks a bit like an old school computer set of numbers, really old school set of numbers, as they're kind of your code on the shaft.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but literally that's it otherwise.
Oh, wow.
Completely.
You'd want a bit more on that.
I mean, I would imagine they probably could, but the only set that I've ever seen come through were just the base sort of composite carbon looking one. Yeah,
Seven Dreamers. Any idea why it's called Seven Dreamers?
I haven't got the faintest idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Itabori.
I beg your pardon?
Itabori. So they do, kind of a blade cavity back. So this one's got the 4 suits of the cards on them, on the various irons. You can fill them different colours. Essentially, these don't exist until you order them. But they're classic kind of forging, really soft forging. That is literally hand ground. So every head is unique.
Oh, wow.
So, and they're kind of somewhere between like £550 and £600 a club. But they are completely yours, completely individual.
Don't drop that, James, because there's a lot of money on that.
So these are the different finishes. So there's sort of satin chrome on one end, going to a copper, going to a burnt copper, going into flame copper, going to something else, black copper. So with all the copper finishes, they will. It's a finish. It's a coating like a flaming on the outside. So you catch a stone, you'll see the metal come through it.
So it's nothing is electricity, because when you run different currents through metals, it changes colour, doesn't it?
Potentially, there could be some of that as well. Yeah. Quite how exactly they're creating them, I'm not 100% certain. But it's a layer rather than the whole metal being that finish.
Got it.
So if you take a chunk out of one, it'll show the steel underneath.
You did that very well. Just watch it on playback there, James. You did that very well. Yeah. Very good. Eric Wallace, happy Monday, gents. Happy Monday to you, Eric. Can I request you test a couple of 3-woods, of course. The Srixon ZXi for MK2, if not available, versus the TM, the TaylorMade. Curious on launch and spin differences. Appreciate y'all. Like that. That was my American y'all. Y'all. Jeff Berger, what are your thoughts around arm lock putting? Just bought one and still experiment. I think when it comes to putting, if you could stick it up your bum and hole a 3-footer every time, I'd do it, because I think whatever works for you when it comes to putting, do it. All bets are off. So I would absolutely, if it works for you, blow your brains out. I think it's a great idea to experiment with that.
Simon, it's a highbrow show, this, isn't it?
Sorry.
Honestly, the arm lock, I think it should be banned.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go controversial. I think it's anchoring.
Right. Okay.
I think the last point of contact should be your wrist, and I think from an amateur point of view, if it helps you play well, it's within the rules. But heck, use it if it helps. But I'm against that.
Yeah.
Just as a
bolting
principle.
It down. Yeah.
I think the easiest way of doing it is make the putter the shortest club in the bag. And I think there are too many grey areas with regard to that. There are some players who've been around a long time who are accused of cheating. There's been some coverage online of Bernard Langer with contact of his arm on his. You can see the pull of the sweater. And you know what? The sad thing is that what it does, it starts to question his achievements. But you know what? Ultimately, if his arm is in contact with his body, he's anchoring. And I think get rid of all the grey area and go, look, you can't touch anywhere above your wrist.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm.
I mean, it's a harsh way of doing it.
No. I think it's nice to have a standpoint on it. I feel a bit indifferent because I think it's such a hard game, even if it was anchored. I mean, if anchoring was the answer, you know, when Torrance was doing it, if anchoring was the answer, everyone would have picked up a putter and gone, well, this is the way. Yeah. So I just don't. I certainly understand.
I mean, certainly the whole stick it in your stomach button and do that. Yeah, I'm glad that got out.
Yeah.
And I think for my view on amateur golf is, as you say, it's a hard game, and actually, should we kick amateurs when they're down if you get the yips or whatever? But at pro level, absolutely should be banned.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't care. Because you know what I mean. What I mean by that is, it's like I think it's such a hard game, as I say. If anchoring was the answer, everyone would do it. Yeah. It was like the flag stick in the hole. You know, everyone started off. You saw a couple of few tour pros. Well, now nobody has it in the hole. You know,
and funny enough, it ricochets out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so I think it should be just do whatever works. I think at all levels. So because that way, if you want to putt backwards, upside down, inside out, who cares? I think it would actually. Can you imagine if if it was free speech, you know, people could putt through their legs and it would work. I mean, with the way tour pros are, I mean, they'll try anything. I mean, we've seen enough weird putting grips and starts, right? I mean, let them do what they want because I think you'd have people closing their eyes and doing all sorts of things.
Was it one of the guys who started? I mean, there are a few of them that done it, chipping one-handed.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't really care. Let them do whatever they want to. Let's see the
TaylorMade first. And this is the core model rather than the low spin one, because I presume this is really the kind of the most similar product. And this is a pretty strong hitting head. So very solid feeling. You know, it's. Launch-wise, 12.8, spin 2.8, 150 ball speed. It's a going ball flight. I'm not going to hit it much better than that, so I'm going to cut it on my head. Just really solid feeling head. This, to me, I think this is almost the most RBZ-like that they've done.
Oh, is this the one that we talked about last week? This is cannon fodder, isn't it? I mean, it's going to come out like a...
Yeah, it can really go. Yeah. The Strixon heads have been... I think the difficulty where they haven't had the adapter is they haven't been as fittable as some of the others. However, they've actually been surprisingly strong in terms of ball flight.
Well, that's a nice looking sole, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, very clean.
That's a lovely,
very clean looking club head.
Shame you don't look down on it, only hidden by the head cover.
What it looks like from the other side.
Yeah, nice.
But very simple looking club head. That step on the top is actually, it goes away in the 5-wood. They're doing it for weight positioning, I think.
Got it.
But sits really cleanly. All right. That's gone off like shit off a shovel.
That wasn't too bad either.
That's incredibly low spin.
Yeah, that's not a lot, is it?
That's that actually been the downfall of it in previous years. It's been that hot you couldn't loft it up. I'm just going to make sure that wasn't a toe strike. And that was an absolute rocket. So, yeah, I think it could surprise. If it feels quite nice as well. Nice sort of sound to it. A little less ball speed than TaylorMade, but it's lower spin. That really is a low spin bomber.
Yeah, that's not for me, that one.
Okay.
Simon Muddleton asks, just one quick question, chaps. Tried 3 ranges with TrackMan and none are allowing me to view attack angle. Yes, the TrackMan ranges are only measuring the ball And the reality, it's about as useful as a chocolate teacup. You're hitting range balls that have been hit a gazillion times, and it's simulating to a degree what's going on. So yeah, you're just not going to get any club data. The only way you can get that is one of the main units, unfortunately. Gary Satterfield. Hey guys, is there one specific part of a pro's swing you could tell the average golfer to concentrate on while watching them on TV? Yes, the way they stand to it. Stand to it like them. It's a static position that's so easy to copy. Stand to it like a tour player. How often you walk down the range and you haven't even seen the guy or girl hit, and you know they're going to hit a great shot? It's because they're standing to it like a player. So copy setup. Just copy setup, man. Yes. It's that simple.
The only other thing I'd have said was potentially how almost they finish the swing, they free up through the shot. They actually complete rotation through the ball rather than kind of a jab at the ball. But yeah, you're right. The athleticism of setup, everyone can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think
underrated.
Yeah, absolutely. James Young, evening chaps. Interested in the new Aratera EC1 blue shaft? What shaft is it similar to?
Well, one could say actually from a construction point of view, it's not similar to anything. The way they've layered the bias core and the linear core is the material is unlike any other shaft. I think from a feel point of view, it's incredibly smooth feel. Diamana blue maybe, but even then it is a different sensation to any other shaft that I've hit. So what's it similar to? Probably the smoothness of what the Diamanas have always talked about. That kind of product is probably the closest to it, but the Diamana still has almost like a harder feel of impact. Real Christmas to it, whereas the Aratera is really stable without that kind of hardness to it. It's hard to describe, really. Looking forward to getting them in. Should be here this week and doing some more testing with them.
We are going to do another live studio audience March, April time with 2 tour players. We're hoping to get them lined up. We'll announce it soon enough. If you would like to get involved, do drop Simon or myself a line, Simon or Stuart at precisiongolf.co.uk, and you can book your spot. There are about 45, 50 places. We'd love to have you along. It's going to be about an hour and a half hour show, but it'll be half an hour before and half an hour after. So it's a couple of hours meet and greet with the players. If you want to come and chat to us, you're welcome to. I haven't got much to say after we've spoken to you lot for an hour. But yeah, come along and we'd love to have you here. There'll be a few nibbles and we'll certainly get Simon to play a guitar at some point during the year if we
get very confident about
that. Hey, come on. And let us know what you'd like to see on these Monday Night Lives if we're not covering it. What would you like to see, if anything, different? The Yorkshire Blade, nope. Aim for the bushes. Now that's a great handle. There should be a prize on the best handle. Aim for the bushes. That's something that you do, Mark, isn't it?
I wish you could see that.
Two bushes. Evening, gents. Great channel. Thank you so much. Aim for the bushes. Could you test the blue board shafts on a GT2 if possible? Diamana BB versus blue Tensei versus anything else in this profile?
I'll do those 2 because otherwise we'll be here all night.
Absolutely. The Yorkshire Blade. Simon, what is the most expensive set of irons? Guessing Japanese. How much?
Well, actually, the most expensive set of irons is actually a Honda, where they're the 5-star Hondas that have gold in the ferrules and platinum power bars, and they're about 50 grand.
No! Oh. Can I have 2 sets, please? Can I have 2 sets? Sorry, everyone.
Sold to the gentleman in the blue.
I need to stick this back on charge, or else it's going to be lights out, all out. Guess the show. Guess the show.
I could give it away, but I won't.
So let's have a George Autoflex in a TSR 10-degree head. Is it a good combo?
If it's the right one for you, then yes.
That's simple.
That's
simple and clean.
Autoflex is really the USP of Autoflex is how soft it is. It's very soft. There's a lot of toe down droop. So if you're you're a uniform plane swinger, if you're kind of quiet load and it's rotation based, it can work if you need a light, slightly counter, or 50, 55 grams slightly counterbalance shaft. If you have a bit of a change in plane, a bit of rotation involved in the hand rotation involved in the swing, then it creates a lot of droop and you like to miss strike, and then it really just doesn't work and spins lots.
Last thing you want is a lot of droop.
Yeah.
Flaccid, they call it. Flaccid shaft.
Yeah, nice and stiff and tight.
Yeah, that's what you're really after.
Right.
Graham Jones says, missed the answer about hitting a bunch of towers. If you grab the red dot on the bottom of the live and scroll it back, you'll be able to see the start of the live. I basically said, don't do it. All right.
So, blue ball profile, sort of mid stiffness in the grip section, stable tip, it's a very, very even profile through. There's a little bit of give in the middle. And ultimately, anything in this profile is going to load pretty similarly. The difference between the Tensei and the Diamana are materials. Diamana has always been geared towards smoothness, and Tensei test new materials out. That's the principle of the two models. So blue board and the 63 here. Yeah, you can feel it. One can feel it load through the middle, but it's really quite tight in the tip section. The new Diamanas, both the white and the blue board, are really crisp at impact. Got that little high on the face. But it's a very, very tight, crisp impact point. I'll just give that one more just because it's a bit high on the face. So you haven't got to work it hard to get some response out of it, but it's pretty stable through the ball. And if I go into Tensei, neither's particularly tip balanced either. They're both quite neutrally weighted. Both are on the lighter end. They're sort of around, the 60 is around 60 grams, which is quite rare. Most 60s are normally around 65. So the Tensei and the 61 grams. I think maybe a little bit, fractionally less feel for the bottom end and a little lighter in the tip section. I feel like there's a little bit more give down the bottom end in that. That particular shot of the armor had a little bit more spin, which is generally what we've seen from these two. The blue board Diamana is a little lower spin, a little more stable at impact. But they're incredibly similar profile shafts because they're the same bend profile. They're based on the same platform, just material differences. But the Diamana has a little bit more firmness and sturdiness at impact. Both lovely shafts.
Very good. I thought for a minute there we had lost power on the iPad there. That was going to be all sorts of unpleasantness.
So I got a bit more launch out of the Diamana though, slightly higher flight.
Oh, very good. Good question here by Gary Satterfield. He is actually useful, you know. He doesn't
really?
just heckle.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he's come up with an absolute stellar question, and one that I've actually thought about. One more question, guys. This might be a Simon question. It definitely is. Will your clubs degrade at all if you leave them in your car 24/7 all year round?
So degrade, not necessarily degrade. I mean, if it gets damp in there, then if you get any kind of damage to the shaft, it could rust. But actually, the biggest problem is the temperature change. So at this time of year, temperature falls through the floor. It's going to go sub-zero, and that's what it does to the glue bond. So in the summer, actually, the inside a car can get over 40, 50 degrees. So what you're going to do is you're going to affect the glue bond, and the head might come off. So in all seriousness,
your head might just fall off.
If you leave it in the car, you've got these extremes of temperature, and it will affect the glue that bonds the shaft to the head.
When someone says that, it always reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. Look, his head fell off. Sorry. I mean, I found it funny, and I don't really care if you did, but I did. Anyway, we do this every Monday night, and you might be interested. 6 p.m, we do this every night. Simon hits loads of shots, editing skills of James behind the camera, and I throw in a bit of coaching and really bad humour. So do check us out, and why not give us a like and a share and subscribe while you're here.
What's not to like?
What's not to like? What's not to like? Let's go back over here. We've got lots.
That's a good question about the car.
It was a good question.
It's something that most people wouldn't even think about.
No. No.
But yeah, it isn't great. And there might be a lot have been nicked.
Yeah, especially if it's
don't leave them in your car overnight.
Especially if it's a 3-wheeled van. Nothing wrong with three-wheel bands, by the way.
Yellow ones.
Yeah. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Ian, my forward, 16.5 degrees, goes almost as far as my driver at 10 degrees. What could be the reason behind this?
Either your forward's going off like a rocket and has no spin on it, or your driver's not performing very well for you. So it's just going to be down to the flight and suitability of the driver and or the forward. So if you're very low spin, the forward could be playing like a 2-wood, and if you've got a low spin head, something like that, Swixon goes off like an absolute extra set. It's going to run like no tomorrow and kind of supercharge. And if your driver's poorly performing for you, poorly fitted, then if it's spinning a lot or if it's coming out too low, then you're going to lose distance there, and then the two narrow up.
A good experiment is if hit one out the neck, hit a high fanned driver. In the summer, this is high fan driver out of the neck, and then hit a toe one down the fairway. It's kind of like that. The two extremes. One could be a low spinning hot thing, and one's a high spinning turd. So you're getting two differential between the balls. So, David Smith, evening with all. Oh goodness! Don't press the screen, Stuart. Sorry, everyone. David Smith, evening with all of the new releases in 2025. In your opinions, which are the standout fairway woods for the slower swinging golfer?
So I think for the slower swinging golfer, you've got to look at the slightly shallower designs. I think GT1, we've literally just got those in last couple of days. Those are going to be really good because they're designed to help get a bit of flight, and they're slightly lighter weight as a base weight. They're kind of 6 grams lighter. I think it's fairly, certainly the drivers are 6 grams lighter than the GT2, 3 and 4. So those are good. Ping and Callaway, the shallower profiles, they're good for getting a bit of flight and getting a launch on them. And it may just be a case of going to a 4 or 5 wood as your first fairway wood rather than a 3 wood. But those 3 for me are the ones that I think are the most interesting.
Gary Satterfield says he's an intellectual now, so there'll be no more joking around. He's very, very serious.
Crying shame.
Alias Capone, that's a good one. Alias Capone. Our pets' heads are falling off. That's a quote out of Dumb and Dumber. So Petey. Petey, look at Petey's head's falling off. Oh dear, I've been on. See, this is what happens. This is
you haven't had a Red Bull or something before you came.
Josh Wright, can see Stuart get the snooker cue out and lay down on the putting green? Look, if anyone can bring a snooker cue in, I'll gladly.
Oh, this is like doing anything you want on the. This is like the putting thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? That would be brilliant. Can you imagine that?
I'd love to see that.
Tour players
end up like Mike Clayton's.
Yeah, that's right.
Without any putting.
That would be brilliant. Don't you think? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, the greens are so good, you could do that. I mean, that would be just
tough on a 40-footer though, wouldn't it?
Absolute gold. But then you take your chances, don't you? Yeah. You have your snooker cue for your 6-footers, and you have a putter, arm lock.
I think Camilo Villegas would have an advantage from his praying mantis kind of stance that he used to do.
Yes, yeah. I can't believe he'll do that anymore. He's not a young man anymore. Shako, nice handle as well. A lot of good handles tonight. In the market for a hybrid, how does the Ping G440 compare to a Titleist GT2 or GT3? Could you hit them and compare?
I can, yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Ian Murgatroyd, what is the best iron head for a shallow angle of attack, Simon?
So if you're looking for something with a bit of help, P770 is great.
P770.
I mean, that one I think we've seen the best performance for a real picker. If you're wanting something slightly more players-oriented, I like the T100. I230 is good, but T100 I like.
Very good. Yeah. I repeated his answer because I thought you couldn't hear him, but then I realised he's got a microphone on. Stuart, you missed my question. Richard Skinner. Oh, no. Sorry, Richard. Hi, guys. Oh, my apologies, Richard. Hi, guys. Agreed on anchoring. Can you test the Callaway Elite? I'm going to still call it Eli T. Elite Triple Diamond driver versus the GT3 versus the TM Core driver. We're coming in.
If we do a 4-hour show, it might be all right.
Yeah. He's been hitting balls. He's ready for it. It's just how quick he can do the nuts up. That's the only problem.
Who misses?
Absolutely. And the market, could you hit them? So Tyler Stewart, appreciate the help. Currently playing an O-band CT120 with Blueprint S. Ball flight really high with a lot of spin. Any other iron shafts you recommend to try?
Try a different head. The shaft won't be adding that much flight and spin. The reason it's flying high is because the Blueprint S's are quite a high spin, high launch, high spin head. So they retain launch and spin. So other than de-lofting those, if they're swinging well, you're striking them well, hitting them straight, but they're going high, it's actually the head rather than the shaft.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be happy to hear that he's got to buy new heads now. With
the Blueprint S's, you can de-loft them a couple of degrees and that'll bring the flight down.
Ah, brilliant. Great answer. TYB, Simon, can you and Stuart have a 3-iron off over water to a green with a pin near the front? I mean, what sort of nastiness is that? Nasty. If we get time before the end of the show, we've still got 24 minutes, we will absolutely do that. We're going to have to dig out a couple of 3-irons, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah, I don't own one.
Into a
left to right 40 mile an hour.
Yeah. Well, why not? Why not? Sounds like a splendid idea. So Brian McAllister, did I get that? Yeah, Brian McAllister. Great as always, guys. Been playing Modus 120S since first came out. After playing for 57 years. Oh, I bet you didn't like writing that down, did you? Playing for 57 years.
Started when he was 3.
Yeah. Swing speed slowing down. I'm not surprised. You're at least 57. Have Modus 105. Just can't time these. Yeah. Is there alternative lighter option to the 120s?
I mean, the automatic choice would be the 105s. It might, just because you are becoming more experienced doesn't mean that right now is the time you need to go lighter. So the Modus 120s in a SIF are 114 grams. So they're not their kind of stronger side of mid, but they're not super heavy. So actually, it might be that they still swing really well for you. It is one of those things, just because your speed's dropping a little bit doesn't necessarily mean lighter is going to help. But if you've gone lighter and lost a bit of feel for the head, it might be you just need to increase swing weight slightly. But the Modus 105 would have been the natural one to go to.
Getting more experience. I mean, that's a very, very diplomatic way of saying he's an old fart.
Your words, not mine. Right, start with the GT3. This is a really compact head. So it's not for the faint-hearted. But quite a solid feel. I think one of the things that the weights in the heel and toe do make them feel pretty stable. So I've got a little bit heely on that one. But it's not silly low spin, this head, actually. Well, it will be if you hit it out the toe like that. But I mean, that's how it's, to me, the strike, so that's taking the spin down. So this is a head for someone who's not wanting huge margin of error, wants it to be more like it's more forgiving than an iron head for ball speed, but if you get it a bit toe side like that, the spin goes through the floor. So it's not the most user-friendly head in the world. As I say, someone who's trying to replace a long iron, really.
Graham Jones says they banned Snead from croquet-style putting 60 years ago. Do you think Bryson's putter is illegal? No, it's not. It's not vertical, and he's not whacking it through his. Again.
Yeah, it was the sidewinder Snead went to after being.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think it's legal. I've got no problem with it. Mark Rowley, hi fellas. Stuart, what are your thoughts on left foot position? I will talk about that after we've completed this one.
GT2, a little bit bigger, a little bit more wood, so slightly bigger than TSR2. Picks it up much more easily, much more cleanly. Still, it's not high spin, and something I've seen in the fitting bay today, a little earlier on last week as they've just come in. Still quite a strong flight. Launches well, but not that high spin. We're seeing this from a lot of hybrids now, is that actually getting something that spins is quite hard to find, but it comes off the face beautifully.
And that's it's a bit awkward, that, isn't it? Because you end up having this club that sits almost all out on its own. You get to your 5-iron, then you might get some hybrids out, and then all of the thing suddenly comes out like a cannon, doesn't it?
Yeah, and actually, they go a long way, but actually, most players are using them to get more height and elevation. And so I think I think it's one of the biggest misses for Callaway over the last few years is their hybrids have just not spun. And players don't use a long iron because they don't get enough flight and spin and height. So yes, they launch, but then they're going that way, and unless you're just trundling one up the fairway, what use is that?
Defeating the object.
So if you're playing onto a green on a par 3, you want the thing to stop.
100%.
So yeah, I think I think it kind of misses the purpose of them, or there aren't enough that offer that mid spin. G440 sort of sits size-wise in between the two. Ping have progressed them so the 2 and the 3 are more sort of fade to neutral, and then as they go up in loft, they become a little bit more drawbars. But sits nicely. It's a nice, sort of simple look. That was a little low, but this got a nice feel off the face. That will spin a bit. I'm going to do one more. This and the GT2 aren't dissimilar from a strike point of view. That one's picked it up a little bit more, see where spin is. Again, that's got less spin than it's launched high, but it's got less spin than the Titleist. So, and I used the 20 and lofted it down and had the 18 and 19 both at 19 degrees settings on the Titleist. So, the ping is still quite. The G430 had a bit more spin for me than this one, but didn't launch as high. So they've gone height and then strong spin, which means lots of total distance, but still means it doesn't stop.
Yeah. Survey says no.
Well, survey says yes if you just want to bomb it as far as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Mark Rowley asked,
5 driver heads to it now.
Yeah, you get those drivers going. Stuart, what are your thoughts on the left foot position, flared or squared? Heavily flared feels like I get my hips open through strike. It only feels open through strike because you don't use your leg action. You really shouldn't be using a foot position to open your pelvis. So I would absolutely square it off more, because it'll help you with your backswing get a little bit deeper, a little bit more hip turn, which will give you a bit more chest turn, a bit longer backswing, which will give you more speed at the bottom. If you want to use your hips a bit more and open them up, I would check out a lot of my videos on leg action. That would be my advice.
Which hedge is it? Elite, triple diamond?
Oh yes, let's go and find that out for you. No, not Shaco. Great as always. Jason. Sure, gosh. Talk amongst yourselves while I.
Well, there was a question about spin loft. So 3 hybrid on here, just so you can see it's a dynamic loft on that shot with the ping. Dynamic loft 18 degrees. But that's still, the head's still spinning it low. You're going to the Titleist one, dynamic loft 17.6 degrees, a bit more spin. The Titleist out the heel, dynamic loft 16.8, but I called it out the heel, so it's spun. So it's a mixture of dynamic loft, but also the spin proportion of that head, and that's the key thing from a stopping point of view.
Yeah. So that was we just compared the Titleist and the ping, didn't we, just then?
Yeah.
Yorkshire Blade wasn't. Richard. Gosh.
Was it a GT3? There was a GT3 in this.
I really can't. Oh, here we go. Can you test the Callaway Elite Triple Diamond driver versus the GT3 versus the TaylorMade Core driver? Sorry, it was Richard Skinner's answer, a question that I had missed. Very good. We will get onto that right now. I will answer while you're setting that club up. Alias Capone, if you are thinking about new irons soon, is it worth waiting for the new Titleist irons and the i240 irons later in the year?
Pass. I mean, there are a lot of very, very good products out there, and ultimately, what extra is it really going to achieve? I assume they're going to be an i240. It's not going to be that different than an i230, which is a really good product anyway. The other one was
the Titleist.
Yeah, again, Titleist, it's been such a successful run of heads, they're not going to change the design that much. There's always going to be, whenever you get a set of clubs, there's always going to be a new model on the horizon. So if you're always waiting for the new model, you're never going to do anything. So actually, the products now are that good. if you're going to lose out, it's so minimal. If you're getting a good fitting and they can optimize the performance for you, you're really not losing anything. You know, if there's 2 or 3 series, yeah, you might miss out on a little bit of margin for error, but you know, the product's now that good that there's a really, really good product out there for anyone.
Very good. Brian P, great show, men. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Simon, has your team been able to remove the back weight in a Mizuno ST X230 driver? I've judiciously heated it, but can't remove it.
It's not something that we've tried. I think when we tried it had similar things, and if it's that stubborn, it's a bit like the back weight in the TaylorMade Max drivers. If they don't want to come out, then don't force them, because then you knacker the warranty.
Yeah. Good show. Good show. Just going to plug that in. Running a little low on juice on my iPad.
If this goes somewhere weird from a line point of view, it's because Stuart's kicked the launch monitor.
Yes, yes.
So it's not me hitting it off the line.
That's Stuart's error in his footwork.
Right, so GT3, the update on the one that I've got. I think what Titleist has done quite well with this is weight forward, weight back. Very, very stable. So, you know, upper mid launch or mid upper mid launch, but strong on spin. Fairly compact head shape, solid feeling, good all-round club. I think the GTs launch a little lower than the TSRs, but you know, good strong performance. That's quite a nice hit. I'm going to go to the Callaway next.
Jonas Flotterer asks, what should the ideal dynamic loft and attack angle be for a 3 hybrid to optimize launch and distance? It is different for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, dynamic loft, so depending on
club speed, delivery patterns.
Yeah, angle of attack for most hybrids, playing them more like an iron in general is the better way to do it. However, some of the heads now take, you know, GT1 suits being picked like it's like a small fairway wood, it's like an old school fairway wood in terms of size. So you can pick them a lot more. I mean, that GT2 and the G440 actually, you know, I didn't feel you got to go down to get it. So, but part of that lower CG is it's taken spin off as well. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting this year as to which heads we can actually get some flight and control out of. But we're still very, very early in finding out which ones are doing what. I think the TaylorMade Max is pretty good for spin, but it's quite different than the core model. So, yeah. So triple diamond, a little less. It's got the GT mark on the top, which gives you a bit of an alignment. This is more discreet, some would say. It's a polished crown rather than a matte crown like the other models. Fairly solid hit there. I think, and this is weight forward, this is definitely a safer head than the AI Smoke Triple Diamond. This is halfway towards the max. That spin isn't as low as this head would have been in previous models. Definitely higher launch. So Callaway have always had more actual loft on the face to stated loft than most brands have, because they're generally pretty low spin. So this one's launched up a degree and a bit higher than the Titleist. But the spin's definitely that little bit safer off this head than they've done in the past, which some would say is good because it's a little bit more balanced in terms of flight, but it's not quite as hot.
I'm not buzzing off the green, got to tell you. You're feeling the green?
I don't care really, but I think it's taken a lot of critique.
Has it really? I didn't even know that.
Even before they were out.
Is that right?
People were slagging it off.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, so it's not universally liked.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I think performance. I think the core model. I'm going to put this one. The core model is possibly the straightest driver I've ever seen. Left-right dispersion is ridiculous off of it. They've done a great model with the core model Elite.
Oh, interesting. That's good to hear.
Even better than the Ping.
Paul M, hi guys, great show as always. Thank you, Paul. Picked up a Ping 10K Max driver to try. To me, it feels heavier, and I've lost ball speed compared to my G424 Max. Have you seen similar in the fitting bays?
Well, the 10K Max has more weight at the back, so that can make it a little cumbersome. The more weight you put further away from the shaft, technically it's more stable. It's like doing that with a stance. But it can, and I find it has, if I put heavy weight at the back, it can drop the club underneath and it actually lose some of the timing. ping head weights are generally on the heavier side as a general rule of thumb. But yeah, the 10K can, because of how extreme the mass is, can be a little bit cumbersome, yeah. So again, I've got the heavier weight at the front on the core model, tailor-made. Very, very distinct look. Actually quite like the grey crown on this. That's right at the bottom.
We've got 9 minutes.
Good ball speed. So for right at the bottom, that's a good spin. I think this is, I'm going to do one more hit with that. This is one of the products of the year, I think, this year. Haven't quite struck either of those, but a stronger flight and a little low on the face. So the spins launched a bit low, spins a bit high. But actually, for those two strikes, this is a massive leap forward from QI10 in that respect. If your miss is heel or low, and the versatility of moving the weight around, I think this is going to be a very good head this year.
Very good. Harewood Hayden Cave. Simon, do you stock any alternative manufacturers of woods, hybrids, what GMAR are for irons?
We do have a GMAR hybrid, but it's fairly heavy. Hybrids, fairway woods, we looked at, and there is a potential. We've been trying to get a proto concept to drive a head in to test out. But in the main, they tend to be very dear if you're going down the kind of the niche Japanese route. And there's got to be enough volume to make it worthwhile getting in. I think in irons and wedges, someone will go there for a Japanese forging, an Amira or Epon or a 14 or something like that, because there's that feel element to it. Whereas the versatility and the performance across the mainstream brands in the woods makes them very hard to beat and justify charging twice the amount for.
Jonas Flosher, at what age and skill level should a junior consider getting fitted for clubs to ensure optimal performance and development?
I mean, there's an argument to say you can do it. You can do it from very young with things like the US Kids clubs. Just making sure you've got appropriate clubs for usage. Although they do it by height, so there's kind of built-in fitting from a weight point of view there. I would say certainly the moment you start to get into growth spurt age, sort of early teens, that's when you're going to start to see the biggest gains in strength and speed. And certainly at that point, I would look then.
Richard Skinner, great show. I love the show, guys. Amazing. Stuart, is it easy to book a lesson with you? Yes, it is. If you find a link in any of the descriptions on my videos or go to the Precision Golf website under coaching, you can find my online diary there. No problem. Mark Moon, Stuart, any chance of a drill or tip to help me be able to drop the club head more behind me, allowing me to swing more from the inside? Thanks in advance. Why would you want to do that, Mark? That would be my question. I would go and check out your grip first, because I assume you're trying to hit more of a draw. If you are over the top, your club face is probably more than likely open. Get your grip right, check out my grip series, and check out my ultimate backs swing drill video that will sort all of that out for you, rather than a quick tidbit that's going to serve no use. I know. David Smith, Stuart, can you give a live online press up to grip? Have bought the grip aid you suggested for a right-hander. How far right should you adjust the grip aid? I haven't got the grip aid with me. I will bring it on next week's show, and we will do that for you, no problem. Tyler Stewart, thanks, fellas, you are very welcome. Brian McAllister, thanks, guys. Started playing at 7 and slowly becoming an old fart. Well done, Brian.
Slowly, Brian.
Ali Mooley, hi, gents. What is the current lead time for new woods drivers when ordered after a fitting at Precision Golf at the moment?
We're currently working to 3 to 4 weeks. That has a little bit of a leeway to it. Certainly within 4, we are getting into busy season now. But currently suppliers are being pretty good from a timing point of view. So currently we're probably looking at the lower end of that, but it's getting into the busiest time of year. So we say within 4 weeks, that's the safest bet.
Brilliant. Simon Muggleton. So if you need a 4 hybrid from 2012 to 2018 era, would you need to go to a 5 hybrid to maintain your gapping with these new hybrids going further?
Quite possibly. Yeah, quite possibly. And certainly some of those heads back then retained a bit more spin. And ball speeds are a bit stronger potentially on the current models. So it may be that if you were in a, say, 4 hybrid of 21, 22 degree, it might now need to be 23 to maybe even 24 with some of the ones I've seen this year. But you're going to get very much that up forward flight. It's going to peak up much quicker rather than forward and then the spin kind of holds the top of the flight. So it will be a very different visual.
Alias Capone, in general, how many degrees of loft should there be between your last iron and your hybrid?
I'm going to say 3 generally. Otherwise, the gap could start to get quite big.
Graham Jones, felt I tried at least 6 versions of backswing today and still got 3 birdies, so probably still the same. Can reasonable players ever change without sacrificing scoring ability? Absolutely, the best players in the world do. So if that wasn't the case, you'd like to think that golf coaching would not exist. Gary Satterfield, hey Simon, is the coupon still good that I found? It says book a lesson with Stu and get a free fitting from Simon. Yeah.
If you can provide it.
Yeah, if you can find it. Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Coming back over to the Precision Golf channel. Jason Owen, what comes first? Good question. Golf lessons or custom fitting?
See, we'd probably say the opposite way around. I would say lessons to make sure there's nothing major from a swing change point of view required, because that could affect, particularly the top of the bag, that could affect what you get fitted for. If it's not major and we know what you're working with, then then we can incorporate that into the fit. If it's a major change, then you need to bed that in a little bit before getting the fit done. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Simon. Let me just get this to stand up. Next week, we will have a fully charged up iPad. The Mike T, is light grip pressure with driver a myth? No, it's not, absolutely not. I personally, my sensation when I'm pulling the club in transition, I am trying to make my grip lighter at that point when I'm pulling, so it loads a bit harder. Leo Barneck, hey guys, thinking about tipping a Ventus TR Red 7X an inch for a driver, what will that do to the profile?
It will soften the tip. Which sounds a bit odd, but you've got Velocore material in it, and actually it's any of the Ventus shafts, it's basically been proven that it won't stiffen it. It might keep parity at best, but certainly Ventus Blue, it'll soften the tip, and the TR Red, I believe, is one it might maintain what it is. Pretty much most other shafts, that as a general way of stiffening the tip up, but actually for the Velocore materials, it normally softens them.
TYB, good question. Will we ever get to play Augusta on the track now? Absolutely.
No, Augusta will never license the course. So someone might create one that's an unlicensed version, but it won't be official and it won't be sanctioned by Augusta.
And we've got through them all.
Have we?
We've done it with 2 minutes to spare. Brilliant.
We'll find a 3-iron over water.
Go on then. Go on then. We'll answer the rest of your questions next week. We are going to hit, well, unless it's not. It's been retracted on mine. What did it say? Oh, yeah. No, we will read out all questions. If we. Oh, the question. Oh, well, we can only respond to the questions that we get pitched. We are all open for complete beginners.
Yeah.
People that don't even play the game that want to get involved in it. And that's why we say every week, if you know someone that wants to play the game or know someone that just is inquisitive about the game, send them our way, because we will answer absolutely anything. We will hit anything. We'll discuss anything golf related.
I think the reality is that a lot of the people who tune in, what we do is technical. It doesn't mean the questions have to be, but we're an outlet for people to ask the technical questions to and get the answers. So that's why I think you tend to see the geeky side of it. But you know what, if someone says, has the most basic question, we're also here for that too.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are welcome all to any golf related content. And I think you'll see from our content that we put on both of our channels, it's for everyone. From the complete beginner to someone buying their first set of clubs, to comparing Costco set of golf clubs to a high-end club, all sorts. So hopefully we aren't exclusive to nerds and people that know a lot about the equipment. I certainly know very little, and when I read out some of these questions, I'm like in awe, because people know so much about, and I think that just shows where we're at with the internet, with golf clubs, and the mystique, unfortunately, has gone somewhat, hasn't it? Of new clubs and that kind of thing, which is a shame, but it is what it is.
Right. You've actually played this hole.
I have played this hole.
220 over water.
Man up.
Do you want to go first or shall I go first?
Go on, you go first.
I'm going to go, well, I haven't got a 3 on, so I'm going to have to melt a 4 on.
Yeah, it's a big 4 on, 226.
Yeah.
This is on, who requested this? That was Dave. No, who was it that requested this?
No,
it was Doug.
Nasty person, though.
Yes.
Right. Take dead aim and give it a whack.
Oh.
Actually hit pretty well.
Well, I've got to tell you, I was going to say something earlier. I mean, you are unloading it beautifully through the golf ball tonight.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's not even got there.
Do you know what? It feels like that lovely comment is what caused that to happen.
Yeah, it just pulled back. I haven't got much, a 4 on much more than that.
Goodness me.
212, 210 carry.
I'd just like to say I haven't hit balls other than in my videos for a little while. This could be, look, get them excuses out of the way, Stuart. Come on. Oh, that wasn't very nice.
You make sure you missed it right there, which is
very
sensible.
Nice. Stay in the air. Stay in the air. Stay in the air. Go hard. Go hard.
They're both
go
dry.
Hard. Oh, should we have one more go?
Yeah, go on then.
Should we have one more go?
Yeah, it's a slightly warmer than the 9 holes at 750 that I played yesterday.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, my playing partner thinned one on the 3rd hole, and the expression on his face was a picture.
Right. One swing was enough of a warm-up.
Oh, that's a proper hit.
That was solid, that one.
Pick that out of the hole. Do you see the club twirl?
Pick that out of the hole. Go, go.
Oh, look at that, right.
Come on. Come on. Stay on. Stay on.
Oh,
stay on.
That's harsh.
Stay on. Stay
harsh.
on.
I mean,
stay on.
Brutal. Nice, easy course. Glad I picked this hole. Right.
That's horrendous. I feel broken.
That's probably
That's
left.
a bit twisty as well. Go on.
I've hit it well enough.
3 times the charm. We're going to go one more. That's what. Give the audience what they've come for. Come on.
Right. Okay.
This is the one. This is the one.
Oh
no! Oh no!
I'm excited.
Oh no! Bit of a drop kick, that one. No, is it?
No, is it gonna?
It's dry.
Oh,
it's
no,
dry. You would.
It wouldn't have kicked right in real life, but it kicked into the soup.
Right, come on, Stuart. Come on.
Coming back.
That needs to go. Bit of a hop off the right. Bit of a hop right. Go on, down you go. There she is.
There you go.
There she is.
Very, very good. Very good.
Well, hopefully that was a nice conclusion to a fantastic hour-long show again. Don't forget, March, April time, we're going to do another live studio audience with a couple of fantastic tour players, a man and a lady. So stay tuned for that. Drop us a line, simon@precisiongolf.co.uk or stuart@precisiongolf.co.uk. We would love to have you all along. Well, I mean, I don't have to ask you. It's busy time. It's busy time for us all, right? No,
this is now silly season.
Pedal faster, pedal faster.
Yeah, great stuff.
We really, really appreciate for you taking part in our show. We'd really love it if you'd spread the word, share the link maybe to one of our Monday night lives. We enjoy the questions. And on Jason's point, it'd be lovely to get some newbies in there asking some questions that maybe are sort of in the back of your mind that maybe don't want to be asked. Big thanks to Simon and James as usual.
Likewise.
We really love doing this. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week.